Guardians of the Galaxy Vol.3 ends the latest MCU trilogy, so let's rank all 5 of the MCU trilogies from worst to best. Hey everybody, my name is Justin here. I try to watch everything that hits theaters and on streaming services. If you guys are like me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and click that bell notification for more up and coming content. Leave your ranking down below. How would you rank all 5 of the MCU trilogies from worst to best? I will not be including the Avengers films, even if Infinity War and Endgame feel like one long movie. It's 4 separate films. For this ranking, I will be going off of the character and their arc throughout these 3 films and the villains they come across, not just the quality of the movies, but their storyline as well. So you're going to see some odd placements throughout for some of these movies, but coming in last place is Ant-Man. Ant-Man's trilogy, it's kind of all over the place. It started really good. A solo film for him, and then we had more of Wasp in the second and third film. And so the reason for him being so low on this ranking is mostly due to the fact that he had a lot to share with when it came to Wasp. And I really like Wasp, and she has some good moments and she contributes a lot to the trilogy. But as an Ant-Man trilogy, it started to focus more on the pairing rather than just Ant-Man. It started off really good, him trying to find his place after prison, connect with his daughter, be a father. And that storyline continued throughout the series. But when we got to the third film, they tried to do a lot more, and it took away some of that a smaller focus that the first Ant-Man had. It was a very small MCU film compared to what we got in Quantamania. So I guess the trilogy's focus kind of was out of place at times with how it wanted to be a little bit smaller, and then ended up being this really big mess of a film with Quantamania, and then having more focus on Evangeline Lilly's character, Wasp. Even though I like her and she contributes a lot, it kind of took away from that focus of Scott Lang. Coming in 4th place is Iron Man. I don't really care for Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3, but I do like Iron Man as a character. And with this trilogy, we got a great setup for Iron Man. Iron Man is a really good introduction to the MCU and a solo film for this character. Iron Man 2, not the best written film, and Iron Man 3, I don't like it too much, mostly because of the villain and all of that, but I did like how he was dealing with the aftermath from the first Avengers and continuing those implications and how it's truly affected him. That was a great way to look at this character in that third film. What he's dealing with, being this leader, and everything that had happened in Avengers and how he saved New York City. That was a great end to this trilogy. Even if the second and third film are not the best MCU films, there was still a clear focus on this character and him changing throughout. And even in that first film, where we got him in the beginning to where we got him at the end, it's a great character development for this character. And so with Iron Man, even the quality of the second and third film are low, I still like that focus on Iron Man and him growing as a leader and connecting more with Potts throughout the film and the implications of Avengers and everything that he's gone through. I just wish Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3 were better films, because I honestly would have probably had this higher on the list. Coming in 3rd place is Spider-Man. Spider-Man's trilogy is a lot of fun. The second film, I've grown to dislike this film a lot more compared to the first time I saw it. I like in the first film he wanted a lot more, but Iron Man saw him as this friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, but he thought he had potential to do a lot more. The second film, living up to Tony Stark's vision of him and everything. I like that focus on Peter Parker trying to become an Avenger, but also learn what it takes to be a hero, even if that second film was really wonky and just kind of all over the place. The third film is where all of those emotions kind of came in, and he had a lot to take on with Doctor Strange and all of the villains from the Spider-Man universe, and how he dealt with the death of his aunt and overcoming all of that. We see a more mature, rounded out character in the third film, and we see this really good progression for Peter Parker, going from someone that's taken on a villain and it's kind of smaller, and then going to this third film that takes on a lot, but it's still really focused on Peter and his growth as a character and how he's dealing with all these emotions and being this leader as well. So the SpiderMan trilogy has this good continuation of Peter Parker's story and him keeping his identity secret, and with his friends as well. It's not trying to do something really massive and take on something really huge. The Spider-Man film does take on a lot, still focused on Peter Parker as a character and continuing his story from Homecoming. I like Spider-Man as a character, and all three films are entertaining in their own way. The second one being my least favorite of the three, but 1 and 3 are really good films. Coming in second place is Guardians of the Galaxy. The third film had this really great end to the trilogy, wrapping up these character storylines and giving us some really emotional scenes. Every single movie was able to flesh out these characters. It had more to do because it had more characters. It's just not a trilogy focused on one character. It's a group of characters. And with Rocket's story in Guardians 3, that's where most of the emotions come from in the trilogy. And we see this bond and the trust growing within this team throughout all three films to where you really like them. In the beginning, they don't connect, and James Gunn has to give these compelling storylines for this misfit group. But then by the end of the third film, you hate seeing them separated, and there is this chance for this development for each character throughout the film. With all of the humor and the great visuals, we have a really entertaining trilogy, but I've grown to love these characters. And each film kind of feels the same in tone, with balancing these emotions and action scenes and comedy. But it's a chance for us to get to know these characters and how they are able to handle their emotions and situations, like Gamora leaving the team, or Ego in the second film. There's a lot that this team goes through, and it's really kind of testing them, and they overcome it all, and that just shows how strong this group is. The third one being my favorite of the trilogy. This is a trilogy that is very strong. The second film isn't the best MCU film, it's still a fun Guardians of the Galaxy film. But coming in first place for me is Captain America. Even though the third film feels like an Avengers film, we still see Captain America, Steve Rogers, grow throughout all three films. In the first film, seeing him as this young man who wants to join the war, he wants to help out his country, becoming Captain America, but still feels like that scrawny little kid in the beginning of the film. And in the second film, finding his place in the world after being frozen for so long, helping out his friend Bucky that was turned into the Winter Soldier. And in the third film, still helping out his friend Bucky and trying to connect with all of the other Avengers and continuing his ideas and his morals throughout. And even though the third film, focuses a lot on Iron Man's side of it all, and Scarlet Witch and Vision and Hawkeye and all the other characters in there, it still feels like a Captain America film, with his journey and his relationship with Iron Man as well. It's still seeing how he's able to navigate the modern world and continuing his morals and his beliefs and everything. I like the side of Captain America and him believing in certain things and fighting for that. And we see that in Civil War. It's an epic film too. And Winter Soldier is a great political thriller, and the first Captain America is a great introduction to the character. I know a lot of people don't like Captain America, the first Avenger, but I absolutely love it. I love its style. I love its exploration of Steve Rogers and his beliefs. And in the second film, kind of taking a step back and looking at this character and how his beliefs are different compared to the modern world and how he's able to adapt to it all. That is really interesting within itself. And then the third film, taking on this big role in leading this half of the group, and then Iron Man with the other half as well. See him being more of a leader in the third Captain America film. Captain America is my favorite MCU character, and so maybe a little bit biased, but that trilogy for me is very strong. Each movie is in my top 10, and each film has a really good quality to it, and the character is very strong in each film. So it was an easy pick for me to have Captain America at number 1, but Guardians came very close. That third film is very strong. So leave your ranking down below. How would you rank all 5 of the MCU trilogies from worst to best? Let me know in the comment section down below, and stay tuned for more MCU ranking videos like this. My name is Justin Watches Movies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.